All right, so we've got a nice little word problem here to look at. Says, at noon, a pump started emptying an oil storage tank at a constant rate. So constant rate, that tells me this is going to be linear and that we're going to be able to find a slope. At 1 p.m., there were 2,040 barrels left in the tank. At 3 p.m., there were 1,320 barrels left. At what time will there be 240 barrels left? So, does it make sense for us to pair at 1 p.m. there were 2,040 barrels left? I'm going to go ahead and make that an ordered pair. So at 1 o'clock there were 2,040 barrels. Now when I'm doing that, there's my x, there's my y. Let me go ahead and define the x and y off on the side. So I'm going to let x equal the time, and then y is equaling y will equal the number of barrels of oil. And I spelled barrels wrong. There we go. All right. So let's go ahead and get the other information. At 3 p.m. there were 1,320 barrels. So at 3 p.m. 1,320. So there's another x and y. So we can go ahead and write an equation with the information we have. We have 2 points. So we're going to find the slope first and then write an equation which will allow us to answer the question. Alright, so first thing we need to find is the slope, y2 minus y1. So 1320 minus 2040 over 3 minus 1. That gives us a negative 720 over 2, which reduces to a negative 360. So our slope is 360. So we take our slope and we pair it with our first point, and we can go ahead and write an equation that will model this situation. So y minus 2040 is equal to negative 360, because that's our slope, times x minus 1. So let's go ahead and solve this for y. Y minus 2040 equals negative 360x plus 360. And then we'll go ahead and get the y by itself by adding 2040 to both sides. So we have y equals negative 360x plus 2400. Alright, now we're going to figure out how we can use this equation to help us answer the question. The question back up here says, at what time will there be 240 barrels left? So if we look at our equation, we want to know the time, and we have 240 barrels. Well, if we remember how we defined our variables, we said that the y's were going to equal the number of barrels. So I'm going to go ahead and plug 240 into the y. It's going to say 240 equals, and then x represents the time. That's what we don't know, so we're going to take our equation and solve it for x. So for this problem, we had to write an equation first that modeled the situation, and then we can go back and answer the question that they were looking for. And it involves using the equation that we wrote. So I'm just solving for x. I subtracted 2400 first, because this is a negative 2160 is equal to negative 360x. Divide both sides by negative 360. And we get x is equal to 6. So if you remember, our x values represented the time when our x was a 1. This was 1 p.m., this was 3 p.m. We just figured out that x equals 6. So when will there be 240 barrels? At 6 o'clock p.m. That answers the question.